Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My name is Lawal Taufik Adebayo, your favorite civic education teacher at CTY Model College, Oyo State, Ibadan, Oyo State. I want to believe that you had a wonderful time during the last Eid al-Fitr festive period. We pray Allah the Almighty make us witness many more of it. During our last lesson on GS3 Civic Education, we discussed definitions of constitution, sources as well as importance of constitution, most especially as a pillar of democracy. We want to continue with other subtopics under the constitution. I want to believe that the assignment questions I gave you have further deepened your understanding of the lesson, and as such, I am waiting for your reactions to the questions given. Today, we shall discuss some forms of constitution. Knowing this will help us appreciate the operations of constitution in the process of social administration and governance better. It's noteworthy to mention that these forms of constitution played major roles in helping every democratic state choose what type of constitution is suitable for the people, relying on its social backgrounds, ethnic composition, population, as well as heterogeneity of the people involved, in as much as customs and traditions of a people played a major role as a source of constitution. Forms of constitution. The following forms of constitutions have been identified. A. Federal Constitution. B. Confederal Constitution. C. Unitary Constitution. D. Written Constitution. E. Unwritten Constitution. F. Rigid Constitution and flexible constitution. Let us now properly examine each form of constitution identified thoroughly. A. Federal Constitution. Federal Constitution is a form of constitution in which governmental powers existing in a country are shared between central governments, otherwise referred to as the federal government in Nigeria and its component units. There is a federal constitution allows power sharing arrangements between the federal government and the other levels of government in a state. The component units in Nigeria's political atmosphere are referred to as the state and local government. In other words, federal constitution allows power sharing arrangements between the federal government and the other levels of government in a state. For instance, Nigeria operates a federal constitution, and this gives the room for power sharing arrangements among these existing levels of government in the country. This simply underscores the reason why the constitution currently operational in the country is referred to as the 1999 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. B. Confederal Constitution. This is a form of constitution which exclusively reserves almost major powers and functions of government to component units of the states. Thereby, the federal government is only allowed to control the areas of defense, currency, and foreign affairs. In other words, Confederal Constitution gives a larger proportion of powers to their component units, thereby leaving the federal or the central government with some functions in the following areas: defense, currency, and foreign affairs. So, Confederal Constitution makes the component units more powerful than the central government. If we must say this properly, we will say that Confederal Constitution makes the federal government weak, while the component units of the states are more powerful than the government at the central. C. Unitary Constitution. This refers to the constitution that concerns powers, governmental powers and authority in a single central government and legislature. Unitary government gives more powers to an authority, to the central government as well as the legislature. I want to believe that you haven't forgotten that the major role of the legislature is to make laws, while they have some other oversight functions that the Constitution has given to them. So, in a unitary state, any existing local or regional government derives its powers from the central government. In other words, they do not have independent power. The component units do not have power provision in the Constitution. They are thereby created for administrative convenience majorly. Unitary Constitution is operated in countries such as Ghana, Ethiopia, Togo, Sierra Leone, Britain, Italy, and France. Conclusion. In this lesson, we have had a rundown of the forms of constitution, while we have thoroughly examined federal, confederal, and unitary forms of constitution. In the next lesson, we shall treat the other forms of constitution. I think I may have the cause to give us a rundown of the forms of constitution that we shall discuss in this lesson as a kind of a reminder. The following forms of constitution have been identified: Federal Constitution, B. Confederal Constitution, C. Unitary Constitution, D. Written Constitution, E. Unwritten Constitution, F. Rigid Constitution and Flexible Constitution. In this lesson, we have thoroughly examined the following forms of constitution: Federal Constitution, Confederal Constitution, and Unitary Constitution. In the next lesson, we shall look at the other forms of constitution, the remaining ones, which are written constitution, unwritten constitution, rigid constitution, and flexible constitution. Assignment. A. Mention 3 factors that can play major roles in the type of constitution a country adopts for its people. B. State 5 countries that operate confederal constitution in the world. Do have a wonderful time until we meet again. I remain yours sincerely, your favorite civic education teacher, Mr. Lawal Taufik Adebayo. Bye for now.